First thing I want to do is mention that this is a two-part video. The other part, which I've left in the description, focuses on how to support alternative media and content creators. This one focuses more on what you can do personally to fight back against the corrupt media and authoritarianism other than just supporting people you like. There's a table of contents for this video in the description if you just want to skip through the list and pick one you want me to elaborate on. Thank you for watching in advance, and hopefully you take some of this advice. Number 1, don't abandon YouTube. I've seen a lot of people talk about abandoning YouTube for sites like VidMe and BitChute. I do recommend these alternative sites. In fact, I'm on them myself. But I don't advocate leaving YouTube, because whether we like it or not, YouTube is the biggest media platform on the internet, and that won't stop if we leave. YouTube has shown that they'll take the pay cut on demonetizing videos if it hurts alternative media. Now, I do want to add that I think this has to do with them making profit. Certain companies don't want their ads associated with controversial stuff, so they'll threaten to pull out, and YouTube has to demonetize certain videos just so they can make their own money. What I do blame them for is taking this way too far, especially with bringing in people like Francesca Ramsey to police the platform. But if we leave, then nobody will care. I mean, in terms of profit for YouTube, it's a real drop in the bucket. It's nothing. If we leave, we'll exist in our own little irrelevant bubble on alternative sites, but most people will carry on with YouTube as usual. If we pack up and leave, we're just making YouTube's job that much easier. We need to show them that we don't need YouTube, but we're not giving up without a fight. As I mentioned earlier, use alternative platforms. While I recommend remaining on sites like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, etc., I also advocate using these other sites. There's several I recommend. Links to join these sites will be in the description. There's Gab.ai, which is much like Twitter. I actually tried it a while ago and didn't really like it, so I stopped using it. But recently, just in the past week, I tried it again, and it's greatly improved. It's gotten a lot better. So say you've tried one of these sites and it just wasn't that good, try it again. They're growing. They're constantly improving. They're working on their UI. They're getting better. So give them another try. There's also Minds.com, a Facebook alternative. YouTube alternatives include VidMe and BitChute. There are also lesser-known social media sites like Steemit and Liberty.me. I'm on each of these. There's probably 100 more that I've heard of. I've actually heard of one called LBRY.io, I think it is. It's some kind of library. It's not even it's outside the internet. It's something completely different. I haven't tried that one. But there are plenty of platforms you can use. And the nice thing about some of these, if you're thinking I don't want to use 6 different platforms. I like being on just one or just 2. That's what I do. And that's fine. Because there's actually things the nice thing about Gab.ai is there's actually a button where if you use Gab, you can have all of your Gab posts, whatever they call them, Gabs. You can actually have them also post on Twitter. And I know there are apps like Hootsuite where you can post to multiple different things at once. But just give them a try. And one thing you do is cut your cable subscription. If you own a cable subscription to access channels like CNN, you're giving them money whether you watch them or not. I don't have one, but I'm told that some companies allow you to cut out specific channels if you call them, but others may just have to cut it entirely. TV's mostly dead at this point. Many channels have their shows on websites, others are on YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, etc. I say, if you can spare TV, then I would recommend it. Another thing you can do is use Adblocker. If you're visiting an article on a site you don't like, say the New York Times, you can use an Adblocker to make sure they don't profit off of you. They may get their view count of just you showing up, but they don't get any money off of that. But let's go outside the whole social media internet realm, because that's not where everything is. Honestly, one of the greatest things you can do is just better yourself. And I'll go into more detail here. For one, read more, listen more, take in a lot of information. I know we all lead busy lives. We're all super busy. We all got a billion things to do, but just do your best to take in as much information as you can. Read as much nonfiction as you can, and be sure to diversify as well. Far too many people, and I was guilty of this at one point, will read a lot, but only in their own ideology. If you're a libertarian, read some Murray Rothbard, but then also follow up with some Krugman and some Levin. Same goes for liberals and conservatives. Diversify. Personally, I like to frequently use bookstores, and I make it a goal to guarantee that the cashier cannot determine what I believe based on what I'm buying. A lot of what you disagree with but read anyway might be total crap, but hey, read as broadly as you can. And diversify what you listen to as well. That doesn't mean that you have to listen to both Rush Limbaugh and Rachel Maddow at least once a week. But I try to listen to at least a few episodes of all the popular people just to get an idea of what they're like. And there's actually something else I've been trying recently. Most of the information I take in comes from podcasts and not really as much videos or books, because I I'm busy like everyone else, and when you're listening to podcasts, I can do other work while listening to them. I've started increasing the playback speed to what I listen to so I can listen to even more. So I'll start slow. If I start listening to something new, I'll start at the normal speed that everyone listens to. Then I'll try bumping it up to 1.1, then 1.2, then 1.3 times speed. And then I just keep bumping it up higher when I'm able to, and until I hit that point where I just can't go any faster. Some of these podcasts I listen to, I'm getting up to like 2x speed. Now, and think about that. Like, if you listen to something at 2 times speed, and it takes training. That's why I said bump yourself up over time. Like, lift it up. But you can train yourself to do that, to be able to listen to things at a lot faster than normal. You get used to it. Now, like, I can take 6 hours of podcasts and listen to them in like 3 hours. Like, imagine how much information you're taking in. So much more information than everyone else. Like, I just think that's awesome. It saves a lot of time, and time is valuable to everyone here. There are a few programs I use to do this to increase the playback speed. For videos, I use VLC Media Player. It's available both as a desktop program and an app. Unlike YouTube, you can actually close the app while the video is still playing, or audio, and it'll still run, thank God. For audio, there's an app I use called Music Folder Player Free. That'll allow me to adjust the speed from 1 times speed to 2 times speed, I think, as far as it goes. But I recommend those. That's what I use. There's probably plenty of other things out there, too. Another thing you can do, honestly, is just work on yourself. Like, start exercising, eat well, study some philosophy, like, gain some self-knowledge, figure out yourself, fix your flaws. We all have flaws. It's okay to have them, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing that they're there. Work on how to fix them. My best defense of this is, you ever notice how one of the biggest cases against feminism is the fact that they're all, like, fat, miserable people? And then they're always complaining and raving about how they're a victim and how everyone's awful, how men are awful. At that point, it doesn't matter how good their arguments are. Nobody wants to be like them. Like, no one looks at a feminist and says, wow, that person's really enlightened. They just see a miserable person. If you really want to change people's minds and convince them of certain things, like, be the example of a person they want to be. If you're ranting about how awful the world is and how evil people are and how we're all having our rights taken away and how you're angry and you're miserable, no one cares. Like, they're just going to go away from you. If you're miserable, people will go away from you. And you're not going to convince anyone of anything. Like, be a better person. Like, figure that out. Take that time to yourself. Figure out how to improve yourself. And be that example. When other people see a happy person, they're going to listen to you. Because they go, what knowledge do you know that they don't have? And another thing you do is join the fight. This can be done both personally and through social media. Like I just mentioned, if you're an angry, ranting person, it's not going to work. If people bring up things to you that are clearly wrong, like, talk to them about it. Now, don't, like, start yelling at them. Don't have a debate. Have a discussion. Bring up objections like you're curious, not like you're out to beat them. Because remember that if you go on the offensive, people will automatically get defensive. Now, on the other hand, if they're being intentionally stubborn, like, point out their hypocrisy. Like, it helps to call people out. And you can also, like, directly join the fight. Join alternative media. We need people joining the great conversation and making arguments. If you have some original thoughts, make a video about it or blog it on all these social media websites. Minds.com and Liberty.me, Steam it. They all have, like, their own blogging platform. Start speaking your mind and see what people think. Like, you're gonna get criticism. You're gonna get some good arguments back. Like, that's what this is all about. Let's have a conversation. Let's learn. Let's tell people about our arguments. And granted, like, I've made, 17 videos at this point, and I'm the tiniest of tiny channels, but I have improved so much since I've started. And I can really say, like, it's true, like they say, the hardest content to produce is the very first thing you do. It's going to be crap, and, the first, this is number 17, the first 16 things I've made are total crap. But, like, they're getting better, and you just have to do it. Like, you just have to do it. Once you make the first one, the second one becomes a lot easier. And I think, actually, I heard somewhere, I can't source it because I have no idea where it's from, but I heard that once you get past the seventh podcast, 7th video, 7th blog, whatever it is, it becomes so much easier. Because now you've gotten to the point where you've made enough that you're used to it. So let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas that you think I missed. If you haven't already seen part 1, it's located in the description. I recommend you watch that. If this has provided you any value at all, then please give it a like. Maybe send it to someone you think might benefit from this, and subscribe for more. It really does help. I'm taking my own advice and spreading myself across numerous social media platforms, links to which can be found in the description, and because I feel kind of bad for shilling myself right here, at the very bottom of the description is a list of numerous content creators that I personally enjoy that I recommend you check out. If someone's on the list, it doesn't mean that I don't like them, it just means that I don't really know enough about them. Again, check out part 1 if you haven't already, and thank you for watching.